At what point could you personally say, yeah, I've made it? Are we looking at $1 million? Are you thinking $2 million? Could it go as high as $5 million? Because according to the latest data, the number that defines affluent in 2025 might actually surprise you. And it's probably lower than what most people feel wealthy should really look like. So, in today's video, I want to break down exactly what net worth officially defines people as affluent in 2025 and how it compares to what Americans actually think wealth is built up. And most importantly, what exactly it means for your financial future. It's not about flexing the numbers, it is about clarity, direction, and building real financial freedom. So let's go ahead and get into this. So, first of all, we need to look and define the terms when we start thinking wealthy, when you think of rich, when you think of affluent. They kind of get interchanged really consistently. And most people use them interchangeably, but they are completely different. Affluent is not a vibe, it is statistical classification of influent. So affluent actually means you are in the top 10% holding by income or net worth. We are not looking at billionaires like Elon Musk. We are not looking at individuals that own private jets, just households that have really crossed into that upper tier of financial stability compared to everyone else. Now, of course, very easy calculation to share with you guys. Net worth is what you own minus what you owe. Very simple. When we start thinking of the things that you own, we're looking at cash and savings, retirement, brokerage, real estate equity if you own a home, minus everything that is your mortgages, your car payments, credit cards, student loans, anything like that. Income alone does not define affluence, and it will not. A high salary doesn't really resonate into assets if there is a ton of debt. It's a fragile system. Now, of course, net worth is really a scoreboard, and you need to calculate this probably about once a year just to see exactly where you're headed. So here's the headline number, the ones that we see all over 2025 to be affluent in the United States, meaning the top 10% of households. You need roughly $1.8 million in net worth. That is right, just shy of that $2 million we were talking about. And really let that sink in. The top 10%, not 10 million, not 5 million, not even 2 million. We are talking 1.8 million. That number includes home equity. When you have actually the ability to pull money out of your house or you have that equity built in, retirement accounts, long-term investment accounts, 1.8 is the number. This means if you, again, have a paid off house, solid retirement plan, you could already be pulling off or falling into that affluent category, even if you don't feel rich. There are a lot of people that are high income earners living paycheck to paycheck, which can be super detrimental. And why is this important? Because people who are objectively affluent usually still do not feel wealthy. Why does this happen? It's because the perception and reality are two completely different things. When we start looking at social media, when you think about keeping up with the Joneses, lifestyle creep, there is a really different perception when we start talking what Americans actually think it takes to be wealthy. Now, of course, Americans, and when they ask them in a survey, how much net worth do you need to be wealthy? The answer was consistently much, much higher, around, according to 2025 data, $2.3 million. So over $500,000 higher just for Americans to say that they think that is wealth and that is what it means. Meanwhile, the number that people say is enough to have really financial comfortable or financial freedom is around $800,000, which is kind of crazy because that is a massive gap when you start thinking of those two numbers. The gap really does make a big, big difference. When you look at affluent by the data, you're looking at 1.8 million. When you think of actual individuals and what wealthy looks like, it is 2.3 million. Comfortably in the way and the place we want to be with the debt-free journey, around 800,000. That means people that are doing very well financially, mentally, they still feel like they're behind. Again, this is subject to everything we see on social media, looking at the news, lifestyle creep, keeping up with the Joneses. This is where comparison comes in. When you look at inflation, when you look at so many things that can absolutely train wreck your progression when it comes to your financial freedom, you have to take a step back and focus on you. You do not know exactly what is going on next door, what's going on with the rest of your family, unless you're asking questions, unless you're in the financial world like I have been for almost 20 years. When you peek behind the curtain and see what people are actually doing, you can get a whole different idea. Now, of course, when it gets really interesting is when we start looking at generational differences. And depending on who you ask, they can have a very different number. Gen Z tends to say wealthy is around 1.7 million, and and being to live comfortable is around 300K. So much lower numbers when we look at Gen Z. Millennials and Gen Z are very close, and wealthy is about 2.1 million. Being wealthy for baby boomers, about $3 million. So, of course, depending who you ask, the exact same question, there is a big difference. And it is because the expectations really do rise with age, being further along in that career, coming with responsibility, starting to and really building a lot of equity in the house, and of course, experience within the financial markets. When you get closer to retirement, you understand the big picture, healthcare costs, longevity risk, thinking of market volatility, inflation. The finish line actually keeps moving, and it isn't pessimism, it's realism, because that is actually what happens. As you get closer to retirement, you might not think you have enough in your accounts. You need to start stockpiling money, and that is what a lot of people do. Now, of course, when you start looking at inflation, when we think big picture of everything we have here, so why does wealthy feel more expensive every year? Three main reasons. Number one, inflation is one of the huge ones. The dollar buys less, period. If you go to the store and actually calculate year over year, things have exponentially got more expensive. That means you need more assets, you need more money to feel the same level of security because of the increased cost. And then, of course, asset inflation. It is crazy when you start looking at houses, stocks, investments. They are growing like crazy, but you also have to remember this is not spendable wealth. $2 million in net worth might mean that you're living paycheck to paycheck. You could have a house that is worth $1 million paid off from free and clear. You do not have access to that $1 million. Retirement accounts, if they're locked behind the 59 and a half, if you're not drawing any of those assets, again, when it comes to how you actually feel, those funds in the entirety are locked away. You don't have access to it unless you take out something like a home equity or a loan on your investments. The money is locked up in the entirety. And of course, number three, the cost of lifestyle protection. People don't want to live well. They want margin. They want flexibility. They want options. That takes capital. That takes money. And then when we look at one of the big things that a lot of people don't really understand, location will change everything, and people overlook this in its entirety. Affluent is nationally, lifestyle is very local. A 1.8 million net worth in somewhere like Michigan is going to be doing pretty good. That same net worth in New York or California, probably going to be well behind where you need to be. Housing, taxes, insurance, daycare, childcare, everything in those variables are going to matter greatly depending on where you live. This is why, again, when you take a step back from your financial well-being, never compare your numbers to someone else without the context. You don't know exactly what is happening. Wealth is not universal, and that's why we call it personal finance. It is very personal. It is very geographical. Depending on where you live is going to make a difference. Now, of course, like I always say, guys, we got to take a step back. You have to zoom out because there is a general wealth ladder. Thinking of mass affluent, 100K to $1 million. Getting to the affluent, $1.8 million. Looking at the numbers, wealthy perception is 2.3. Ultra high worth is 5 million to 30 million. And ultra net worth, or at an ultra high net worth, is looking at that 30 million plus. Most people might not reach that ultra wealthy, but that's okay. The real goal is not the comparison game. Again, taking a step back, the real goal is having control over your time, the choices you're making, and the stress that you do have in your life. So here's the takeaway, guys. When it comes to affluent in 2025, it doesn't mean you're buying yachts, you're buying jets, you're buying mansion. It means you have a very strong net worth, low financial stress, long-term stability, and you have options in your life. So if you're building towards that $1.8 million mark or already past it, you could be doing a lot better than you think, even though you might not realize it. And of course, if you're not there, good. You have a target. You have a target, what you're looking for. You have a net worth that you're shooting for. Wealth isn't about impressing other individuals. It's about designing and building a life that is going to work exactly for you. So of course, if this gave you any clarity when it comes to your financial path, definitely hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for a lot of practical money strategies, investments, and let me know in the comments, what do you feel like wealth really is? 2.3 million to me seems like a pretty high number overall. And of course, Guys, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.